We all enjoy a thrilling knockout, and MMA delivers them with excitement. The incredible thing about knockouts is how quickly they can change the outcome of a fight. In an instant, with a single punch, everything can shift. The knockouts on this list have made a lasting impact, altering the course of history in the world of MMA. However, this exhibition of extraordinary violence is not for the faint of heart. These knockouts defy the boundaries of acceptable brutality, where the human body meets its physical limits and fighters ascend to new heights of power. Number 10. Frank Shamrock versus Igor Zinoviev. When the UFC needed a new star, they turned to Frank Shamrock, the brother of Ken Shamrock. At UFC 16, Shamrock faced Igor Zinoviev, who was outmatched. Shamrock's mission was to deliver a memorable finish, and he did just that. During the fight, Shamrock managed to grab hold of Zinoviev and executed a powerful slam that sent him crashing to the mat. The impact was immediately evident. Zinoviev landed awkwardly on his collarbone, and Shamrock's extra effort intensified the force of the slam. The result was a knockout that left Zinoviev completely motionless and required a stretcher to leave the octagon. What became clear later on was the extent of the devastation caused by the slam. Zinoviev was diagnosed with a broken clavicle and fractured C5 vertebrae. Sadly, this injury marked the end of Zinoviev's career in the cage, as he never stepped back into the MMA arena again. Number 9. Matt Brown versus Pete Sell. As the issue of fighter safety takes center stage in MMA discussions, it's vital to shed light on a particular aspect that often goes unnoticed. Within the realm of MMA, there have been instances where fighters have been inadequately protected by the individuals tasked with ensuring their safety. Among the many cases, one particularly egregious incident stands out in UFC history: the 2009 bout between Matt Brown and Pete Sell. Officially, the record states that Brown won by TKO at 1 minute 32 seconds of the first round. However, the victory came much earlier, around the 20-second mark of the first round. At that moment, Brown unleashed 2 powerful knees to Sell's face, rendering him unconscious while still on his feet. Sadly, the phenomenon known as being out on their feet is often overlooked by referees, leading to a distressing sequence of events. Brown proceeded to pummel Sell relentlessly for nearly a full minute, leaving him with no means of defense. Sell endured a sustained beating, moving helplessly from one end of the cage to the other. Despite Sell's evident inability to defend himself, the fight continued. Only when Sell finally collapsed did the stoppage come, but Brown managed to land a few more unnecessary punches even then.
He's saying, come on to the referee, do you want me to stop? It is all over! Matt Brown was upset.
Number 8. Gabriel Gonzaga versus Mirko Cro Cop. Although Gonzaga was not considered a high-profile opponent for Cro Cop, given his impressive 5-fight winning streak, he was expected to be a manageable challenge for the reigning Pride Openweight Grand Prix champion in 2006. However, the dynamics of the fight shifted dramatically when Gonzaga successfully took Cro Cop down and unleashed a series of powerful strikes. Suddenly, the favorite Cro Cop found himself in an uncomfortable position, which created an opportunity for Gonzaga to unleash a devastating head kick. The kick connected perfectly, causing Cro Cop to collapse instantly. The shock of witnessing a grappling specialist knock out the most feared striker of that era would have been enough for this fight to be etched into fans' memories. However, what made this knockout even more striking and undeniably frightening was the sight of Cro Cop's leg twisting underneath him as he fell to the canvas.
Mirko looks tentative though.
Number 7. Robbie Lawler versus Rory MacDonald. MMA, a captivating sport, often obscures the tremendous toll it takes on the fighters' bodies every time they step into the cage. Such was the case in the unforgettable title defense by Robbie Lawler against Rory MacDonald. These welterweights relentlessly exchanged blows throughout 4 grueling rounds, leaving both fighters barely recognizable. The fight continued, pushing them to the limits, until a pivotal moment in the middle of the 5th round, a powerful right cross from Lawler landed squarely on MacDonald's nose. Despite having absorbed harder shots earlier in the fight and enduring more brutal encounters in previous bouts, this punch proved to be the breaking point for MacDonald. Overwhelmed and battered, he collapsed, too weary to sit up without assistance.
Lands it. He's hurt. He's hurt. This may be it. That's it. That's it. It is all over.
Number 6. Lyoto Machida KO Rashad Evans. In a historic showdown, two undefeated fighters clashed for a highly anticipated title fight. Lyoto Machida, boasting a perfect record of 14-0, faced off against Rashad Evans, who stood at an impressive 13-0-1 in the light heavyweight division. Machida showcased his dominance early in the fight, sending Evans to the canvas in the first round, although he couldn't secure the finish. However, what he accomplished was even more significant. He introduced a fighting style that left everyone perplexed, leaving Evans at a loss for how to counter it. Undeterred by the first round encounter, Machida delivered a powerful blow again in the second round, causing Evans to hit the canvas. Machida capitalized on the opportunity this time, exhibiting a remarkable display of precision striking and sheer power to seal the victory.
Oh, another shot! He's getting teed off on. He's down! He's out! And it's all over!
Number 5. Rashad Evans versus Chuck Liddell. In a pivotal moment during the second round, Rashad Evans unleashed a devastating right hook that seemed to possess an otherworldly force, connecting squarely with Chuck Liddell's chin. The impact of that single punch left the former champion crumpled on the canvas, completely unconscious. The referee had to carefully roll him onto his back while ringside doctors ensured his head remained off the canvas. It was a heartbreaking sight to witness the former champion in such a vulnerable state, and regrettably, it appeared to mark a turning point in Liddell's career. His once impregnable chin seemed compromised, as he suffered 2 more knockout losses before ultimately deciding to retire from the sport.
Oh, big uppercut! He's out! He's down! Rashad!
Number 4. Dan Henderson versus Michael Bisping. Dan Henderson's right hand was renowned in the world of MMA, comparable to the sheer force of an Aroldis Chapman fastball. When he unleashed that punch, it displayed raw power, channeling every ounce of his being into one explosive motion. During their highly anticipated matchup at UFC 100, Michael Bisping was on the receiving end of the unfortunate consequences. In the second round of their bout, Bisping absorbed what may have been the hardest punch Henderson had ever delivered in his entire career. The impact was immediate, rendering Bisping unconscious. However, Henderson didn't stop there. Seizing the moment, he followed up with a flying elbow strike, adding another punishing blow to Bisping's defenseless body as he lay motionless on the canvas.
That's all! He's down! And it is all over!
Number 3. Edson Barboza versus Terry Atim. Throughout the fight, Edson Barboza skillfully maintained a controlled distance against Terry Atim, strategically luring his opponent into lowering his guard with a combination of low kicks and body punches. By the time the third round arrived, Atim had become conditioned to Barboza's tactics, unwittingly playing into his opponent's hands. In a moment that would leave spectators in awe, Barboza unleashed a flawless wheel kick that connected squarely with Atim's cheekbone. The impact was astonishing, as Atim's body reacted in a manner that sent chills down the spine. He stiffened to such an extent that his arms failed to graze the mat as he fell backward.
Dude, do you want to take a chance and risk getting knocked out? Oh my God!
Number 2. Tank Abbott versus Steve Nelmark. Tank Abbott, a legendary figure in UFC history, has left an indelible mark on the sport, for better and worse. His rise to fame began at UFC 6 with an impressive victory over John Matois, but it was at UFC 11.5 that he achieved one of the terrifying finishes of the promotion's golden age. During his bout against Steve Nelmark, a skilled karate practitioner, Abbott escaped a guillotine choke attempt. Seizing the opportunity, he unleashed one of his trademark flurries, visibly staggering Nelmark. Abbott relentlessly continued his assault, overwhelming his opponent with a barrage of strikes. Amid their clinch, Abbott landed a mighty right hand that sent Nelmark crashing to the canvas in a twisted heap.
McCarthy may step in. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it.
Number 1. Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva. Following a lackluster first round in his fight against Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva stepped up his game in the second round, utilizing a technique that had brought him previous success: leg kicks. After landing a powerful kick to Weidman's thigh, Silva gained confidence and continued to unleash them with increasing gusto. However, Weidman quickly adjusted to Silva's strategy. He skillfully checked Silva's second kick with his shin and followed it up by checking the third kick with his knee. The arena resonated with a bone-chilling snap upon impact, causing Silva to stumble backward while clutching his leg in agony. As the cameras panned to a jubilant Weidman celebrating his successful defensive maneuver, they turned to Silva, who was visibly and audibly enduring excruciating pain.
I think because of that, the body.
Oh, nice.
He checked it.
No.
He hurt himself.
He hurt his leg.
With that said, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys enjoyed it. Until next time.